Alright, and welcome back to WRP's live play of D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen. I was about to say Dragon Queen Shadow, which technically same, but not. So, what is Wildwitch RP, you may ask? I will tell you. Wildwitch RP is me, Faye, your game master and storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We are a couple who love role-playing games and sharing stories with all of you so much that we quit our day job and created our own company so that way we could create high-quality TTRPG experiences full-time. We've been very fortunate along the way to meet many awesome, amazing players who have joined us on our adventure, including the players who are with us tonight, and you can join them in all the fun. To get started playing with us, just join our Discord and website community where you can sign up for games, meet us and all of our players, talk about your favorite characters and stories, and even roleplay on our forums. We've got plenty of games that happen every day, Monday through Saturdays. That way you can play in our Mortal Guardians episodic campaign and fight back against the evil Coven of Zol and their dark masters from the void beyond the stars. We also offer high-quality custom quests, magic items, and our Burning Veil campaign that runs alongside the Mortal Guardians. So take a moment during the game to join us and introduce yourself. We can't wait to see you at the table. Now, speaking of the table, let's get started with tonight's game. And we begin with a brief recap. In the aftermath of the attack on Vogler, you had made your way to Calamon City. And here, you had asked for the city's help with the refugees of the town of Vogler, and it was given on the condition that one of you, if not all, but one of you, join the military. Which happened in the way of Hugh and Derek. Since then, you have been sent on a handful of different missions to assist the city. In between then, you have found connections, raised in rank, and perhaps adopted a new cat. But currently you have found yourself back on the road towards Vogler, as there had been a mayday signal. A set of scouts sent to procure information gave a distress signal. You were sent after as soon as you could. And perhaps moving with a bit of speed yourselves, as it was right in the area of Hugh's homestead. The family holdings of Everhold, as well as the Chateau d'Hiver. Oh, I can speak, guys. I swear. What you found there, one of the scouts was already dead. One tied to a tree in the center of camp being actively harassed, and plenty of Draconians. Having saved the scout, he moved forward and saw that there were more Dragon Army scoundrels present, soldiers, trying to conscript some of the able-bodied men and fighters of Iverhold. And you put a stop to that, bringing down the captain, as well as the soldiers, and the strange Draconian mount. You were successful. A familiar face to Hugh appeared in the form of Isabel, who came out to investigate the strange beast that was slain. But the last face that we saw before our session ended last week was the Vicomtesse Melisande d'Hiver. who is approaching your group at this current time as we set into our story. So, what do you all do as the lady of the house is making her way over?
Rue's hanging back, still poking at that dragon. Maybe cutting off some extra bits for himself for future endeavors.
Why don't we get a survival check then for cutting off some bits?
He already got a talent, but changed his mind. That's a 10. Straight 10.
You're working your way through it. It's not perhaps the easiest cut that you've decided to make, but you're sticking with it. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm after some bones and some hide.
Bass is gonna check out the captain or the leader to see if he had anything cool on him, on his person.
Go ahead and roll for me a investigation check.
Eight.
You see he wears the Red Dragon Army armor, so it's black armor with the symbol of Takesis. Red flourishes all about it. There is orders of recruitment in whatever way necessary sent down from Consulti Fire Eyes. So nothing new than what you already had, but it seems that it is consistent.
Hugh makes a graceful and elaborate bow to coming Viscountess.
I appreciate the formalities, cousin, but it is not necessary, not in these times.
Your guests grow discourteous.
She, as she closes distance, gives the proper courtesy to welcome you all, but you can see that she is perhaps a bit more alert than just what would be necessary for political functions. She makes a note to look to her daughter. Isabel, I told you about being outside the wall. Yes, my mom. And Isabel, once more, a look over to you, Hugh, and the slain beast that, Rue, you've now got a claw, like a full claw off of, but it's like very much torn skin, not a clean cut on the bone. There's scratches and scoring from your blade, but it is separate. So,
Is there any way that I could like slice like a long rectangular patch like out of the tail?
that will be another survival check, please.
I feel like I might have some sort of gnomish thing that lets me like give myself advantage on stuff I have in proficiency with. Maybe I'll go on remembering things.
Right.
Just do a survival check. That's it. 17.
17. It's easier to get the skin separated, so that way you can get the hide to make perhaps a leather garment of some sort, than to cut through the bone. So, easily done. But you all are welcomed into the walls of Chateau de Verre.
Is this like we're going in now, or they're just saying we're welcome in?
You can get the sense that because there was a threat just at the gates, that you are being welcomed in to come in at this moment.
Does it look nice and clean inside? Like, should we be kind of cleaning ourselves up?
Well, so the gates are outside the actual estate lines. You're not going into the mansion yet, into the courtyard, where you see that there are the people that were likely in the homesteads outside, having taken refuge into the actual fortress walls.
Guess Rue would start digitating the blood and stuff off of his hands and his outfit, and if he sees any spots on some of the rest of the party, he'd start cleaning that off surreptitiously as well.
Easily enough done. Well, I am, of course, grateful of your appearance, Hugh, as well as these companions of yours. I will have to alert Nicholas that you are present.
As I see you've already heard of the war on that's come to our doorsteps. Has Nicholas arranged a muster? Are we preparing ourselves?
We are preparing ourselves for defense as they are so close. Which is why we've had everyone brought into our walls. It was too close for comfort, the first instance that they appeared on our lands. But we are trying to keep ourselves protected, keep our people protected.
Well, I can report on them. They are well equipped and formidable in open battle, but as blind and helpless in the woods as any Islamic knight. No offensive, Lady Victoria.
Well,
The lack of woodcraft will serve them ill in our lands.
that is good to know, and will be greatly held when we have any sort of meetings upon tactics. But let us get you inside first. I'm sure that you have had a bit of travel. Your companion looks a bit haggard as she looks past to the Lucinius, the scout. Yes. Where did I write the note for him? I don't remember. It's fine.
He's our healer.
Lucilius?
Lucilius.
Yeah, it's Lucilius.
Lucilius.
He's not showing up with where I have all the rest of my notes, and I'm like, I know that I wrote his notes down somewhere. So it's not too important. But as you are now moving from the actual you do have, of course, people who recognize Hugh call out in greeting. Most of them kind of stick to themselves with everything that has been happening here. But you are led by Melisande into the main hall of the actual estate house. If you would not mind waiting while I alert Nicholas, I will be back here shortly to escort you. And she heads off.
Yeah.
It's a fairly nice area, well lit, well decorated. Shows old money. And
Now that we're here, Hugh, what's the plan?
We find out what they know. We see if what they can contribute to the cause. But we'll have to find out how eager my cousin is to venture beyond his borders.
Victoria nods.
Hugh nudges Vass. Best behavior.
Of course. Obviously.
Avoid the temptation to sing without being asked.
You're asking too much. But I'll try my best.
as you promise to do your best, Vass, let's check on something here real quick. Hugh, you hear small footsteps that seem to be coming down the hall. 2 sets of them. And it isn't long before you see the sons of your cousin, Andriette and Gaultier, as they rush down and then skid to a stop, seeing the collection of you all present.
Cousins! We kept up with your swordplay?
Andriette keeps beating me.
That means you'll learn faster than him.
It means that I'll keep having to hide bruises.
Think of poor Angiette. He doesn't have a older brother to teach him. He'll be the weaker of you.
You really mean that?
Of course.
You see the bit of glare that Andriette gives to Gaultier, kind of nudging him. Hush! Are you coming back to gather soldiers?
We'll have to see what your father has to say. I will represent the Ver lands on the field, whether it's just myself or 100 are behind me.
Father says I'm too young to partake in the war.
You're at the right age to stick close to him and see how he does it. Insist upon it.
You see the sort of huff, and it's at this point that the doors open once more, and behind you comes Isabel, and she looks to her brothers. Are you bothering cousin again?
Isabel, you've been remiss. You must, Andriette needs a older sibling to show him the right way around the sword.
Practicing with Andriette? Fine. Well, come on, boys. And Isabel is going to take them off, and you can hear where she begins to speak to them, much like an older sibling does, about minding manners and holding and knowing when to interject in conversations. As the three of them depart, Melisande comes back and, all right, please, come with me. I will escort you to Nicholas, and then can I expect you all to be staying this evening?
I think my noble companions will not begrudge us our company.
Roof over our head before we carry on with our mission would be much appreciated.
And then I will prepare rooms for your stay this evening, as well as extra
Lou, are
places.
you looking for particular accommodations? My one companion it can be partial to unusual sleeping arrangements.
I don't think it's unusual, but Bruce kind of like struggling a bit. Whatever you have to offer is fine.
I thought he was talking about Vass.
Maybe he was.
Hugh nudges Victoria in the ribs.
I will, again, make sure that your rooms will be set up, and alert our chefs for the extra seatings at the table this evening. So, as Melisande leads you, you come to the office of your cousin, which you've been here before, but it has been a bit of time, and as you're escorted inside, you see where he sits behind the desk. There is a fireplace already lit. You can see that he has some half-drink cup of... You're unsure which spirit it is from just the look, but it seems that perhaps the stress of war so close is not unaffected your cousin. But he stands at the sound of the door opening, welcomes you all in, and Melisande sees herself out, and you stand now before the Viscount Nicolas Diver.
Cousin, I come to you through fire and flame, blade and flame.
And I see no scratches upon you. And he...
May I present my boon companions? Dame Victoria of the Knights of Salamia. Wise Rue. And us here, who comes from us from very far away.
Yes, I can tell. Well, as he steps outside of his desk, comes over and sort of claps on your shoulder before bringing you into a quick hug. Looks to the rest of you all. So, what has brought you to my borders?
All the lands north of us here, north of here, the Calaman and fire, invaders.
Yes, this Red Dragon Army, they are calling themselves.
Worse than the Knights of Salamia, eh?
He chortles. Not nearly twice as annoying. But fearsome. And you see the solemn look upon his face as he returns to his desk. So, it seems that you have found yourself in the war efforts.
Yes. Our resistance is organizing in Kalaman. I've joined the efforts there. I would have as much assistance from our lands as can be spared. If any can, I know we may try to keep our blades close to home when the chaos. But with just myself or the what men I can bring, the House d'Hiver will be represented on the field of battle.
Men are not much that I can spare these days. Not with the frequency that we've had these troublesome visitors at our doorstep. Assistance. I may be able to perhaps provide some financial aid for the efforts of war. And then you see that he begins to think. Perhaps there is more that we can do. It will have to wait until after supper.
All right.
I think perhaps there is a journey to the estate treasury. But I will have the children put to sleep before we make such journeyings.
Well, what aid we can provide will be remembered.
As well as the stories of Hugh de Vere and the war
Mhm.
against such dragon army. Can you imagine themselves calling a dragon army? Have not been dragons seen for years, centuries.
As I was saying, they do poorly in the woods.
That is beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure that our woodsmen and hunters are well equipped for any excursions outside of the fortress walls. Unfortunately, we've not had much since their appearance so close to our own borders.
Now, there's a marvelous contraption in Calaman they developed. Speak at a long distance. I don't think we have it's not perfected to reach this far, but perhaps we'll be able to set up a way of keeping in touch.
It would be quite beneficial.
The details are beyond me. My companion knows more. In any event, good feast talk.
Do you have, towards the rest of the group, any questions for the master of the house, or any sort of clarifications of perhaps what has been happening here. Otherwise, it turns then to just common, casual conversations before dinner
What was his
preparations.
name?
Nicholas.
Nicholas. There's a penchant for Hugh and I think the rest of his people to underplay the threat. And I would hate to think that you're sending your men out unprepared because your egos overshadowed your ability.
Who looks at Victoria a little bit side-eyed, as if he's not always backed up with his ego.
Nicholas kind of leans back in his desk chair. Well, what preparations do you suggest?
What, without knowing what you're planning on doing, I don't know. But if you're sending people out in the woods to play woodsmen against these armies and their forces, don't take it lightly. And that creature that is lying dead outside your gate disappeared when the dragons disappeared. And it was at your gate attacking you. I think over preparation would be in order at this point.
Yes, well, I do not plan to just send men out to be as they are. My cousin is young still, and his ego has room to flourish. But I must attend to the lives of many.
Hugh rolls his eyes at Nicholas, like, you see what I've been dealing with? So, Alex.
But I will take your words, Lady Victoria, under consideration, if the time that comes for my men to be sent out.
She'll bow her head.
Whenever there's an appropriate time to ask a question, Vass would ask if there were stables for their horses.
Yes, I will find someone to alert and take your horses into our stables. That will be of no issue.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm just now seeing the Dragonlance chat of shots fired.
Huh.
Amazing. So yes, if there are no more questions for the head of house, you are able to. He allows you to rest in his office until time for dinner to perhaps catch up and share new experiences, learn about the new companions that his cousin has found upon the way, or you are welcome to just go to the more public areas of the estate house. He shares a kind of knowing glance to Hugh for the areas that would be perhaps off limits to strangers, but you are free to spend your time as you will before dinner is called.
I'll wander around.
Hugh immediately finds his child cousins and wants to show them various dragon scales and other samples he has picked up on his path so far.
Easily done. Victoria, what was your question?
Oh, it wasn't a question. She'll just she'll wander around, look around, meet people, be friendly. You know.
Easily enough done. Rue, Vass, what are you guys doing?
How long do we have until dinner?
A few hours, maybe 2. Not terribly long.
Rue's going back outside the city walls or castle walls, whatever this place is, just to get some fresh air and maybe forage just a little bit for some appetizers in case dinner's a little unsettling. Maybe just kind of wanders around the forest that's nearby.
Do you alert anyone that you are doing this? Then can you roll for me a stealth check?
Sure, of course I can. It's right there. That's a 6.
Okay. As you are moving through the underbrush, collecting anything that really could be edible, foraging for stuff. The pies weren't the best. You're scared to think of what might be found here. You hear a noise. I heard a sound over here. Larger than any sort of hair. Look, we're just supposed to be scouting out the area. Don't need to go off the patrol path. It ain't far. Hush. The officers, if we find something, especially someone who we can conscript, there'll be, I'm sure there'll be rewards. Rue. Go ahead, hearing this. You'd have a moment to try and hide if you would like to. It would be another stealth check.
What if... Ooh. Yeah, that's a verbal component. I assume if I do a spell with verbal components, I would probably be heard.
You might be heard. It's likely,
Yeah.
but perhaps that is a risk worth taking.
Frontboard's gonna have a new character next session.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? That's a 22 stealth.
22 stealth. You are able to sink yourself down into the underbrush, and as you do so, holding your breath, slowing it so that it doesn't rustle, you watch as 2 officers or soldiers of the dragon army, their leather armor stained with black and red, look by. It was probably just a hair. It was larger than just some small game. I heard it. Yeah, you hear a lot of things. Let's get back to where we're supposed to be. We're far too close already. And so the 2, another look around. before they head off, moving away from the Chateau d'Hiver.
Make a note of their direction.
They head towards Vogler.
Interesting. Probably stay there for a couple minutes until I'm sure the coast is clear.
Easily able to do so.
And get distracted by some like mushrooms at the base of the tree next to me.
There's a frog that's sitting on the mushrooms.
Gonna have a romance arc with the frog.
What did I just hear?
Full disclosure, my wife suggested that. I'm like, I don't know if it works that way. But I appreciate
Speak
the
with
creative-
animals is active. It's like, but we cannot be together, for I am a frog, and you are a gnome.
Sounds like a fairy tale just waiting to happen.
Sounds like someone needs to get the polymorph spell.
Noted. True polymorph.
My gosh.
Then I can be with you forever. Okay.
Oh. So, you gather some mushrooms as you make your way back, having survived this close encounter. That's what you've been doing as you wait for dinner.
Is there an office or a library, someplace with books in it that's not off limits?
Yeah, there would be a library, a personal library for the family that you'd be able to Melisande shows to you. And for a moment, it's very familiar experience. You see a overlap, superimposed image of a memory. Two kids, very young, slipping away into a library just like this. But as that memory slides away, it seems like another life, not just another world.
Yeah, he'd feel a little melancholy for sure. He'd find a book that looks interesting, something that talks about local something, whether it's local topography or local history or local just something about the area, and then he'll drape himself over a chair or something and read.
You easily find a book. We'll say it's local history. A sort of broad history of just this general space. So it has some histories of Vogler as well as some Diver history, toshed in. Just basic stuff, but it's great foundations for many stories to be told, many songs to be sung.
By chance, does Bass find any little interesting tidbit while he's reading?
Give me a investigation check, please.
It was almost really good. 13.
13. You. Oh, nope. We lost that escape. As you're looking through this, you get a. there's a lot of interesting tidbits that you've already learned from the first Kingfisher Festival and what it was meant for, the Battle of High Hill, the sort of the histories that go a little bit broader back. You find one of the earliest histories, one of the earliest stories. It's written down, disclaimed from any sort of true fact, oral stories and rumors that spoke of a time pre-cataclysm where the lands that are now claimed by the Ver and Iverhold, where there was a battle between dragons, and that the area was considered perhaps blessed by some, cursed by others. But again, it is noted in here that that was just hearsay. There's no documentation of one way or the other.
Interesting. Yeah, he's trying to just immerse himself in the book. He was just gonna read to pass the time, but when that memory kind of washed over Vass, he would be having a different motivation to read. He would want to try and immerse himself in something else to help himself repress some of the feelings that got brought back by that memory.
Understandable. As each of you find your own pastime, whether it is in good company, strange company, or avoiding company, eventually the dinner bell is struck, and you are all together in the dining hall.
Were we given like a common room or something where we could leave our like armor
Yes.
and piles of weapons and stuff?
You would have been shown your rooms, the
Okay.
guest rooms that you'd be staying in. Well, you would have a set of rooms that are family rooms. So, but yes, you have time between your entrance and dinner for things to be put down. You'd have areas where perhaps the worst thing that would happen is one of the Ver children getting in there and perhaps drawing on your armor.
Oh, getting thrown off the top of a wall? What?
Not that that would happen, but so yeah, you are all called together. Lucilius looks, after having a chance now to kind of wash up, perhaps mend some of the clothes. He doesn't seem half as bad off. The family all dresses fairly well. It seems that they still practice courtly manners. And you have enough seating here at the table for everyone, comfortably. Please.
I'm picturing like a long table.
It is a long table, yes.
Are we seated beside each other?
Uh,
Or are we like mixed?
you do not see any sort of assigned seating. No placards or place cards or anything like that. The only, it seems, seats that have true sort of uncontested assignments is the lord and lady at each head.
I don't have to sit at the kids' table, do I?
You're an honored guest. Do we need to grab you some cushions so you can sit up high?
I mean, how do your nieces and nephews and cousins sit at the table?
With-
Probably need whatever they need.
Proper posture.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
If there is a seat boost that is needed, it can be provided. One that is posh and respectable, as there have been nobles of shorter races passing through before. So easily acquired.
You're a foreign dignitary.
I do
Uh,
represent
Hugh-
my tribe. Hugh.
Speaks through the corner of his mouth. Mingle. Be charming.
So Isabel is going to sit at the right hand of her father. Andriette at his left. Gaultier will sit right hand of Melisande. And you all are able to fill in as you wish.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters that much to Rue.
Hugh goes to sit next to Isabel to pointedly not allow Vass to do that. So.
Whoa.
Wow. Need to start keeping a tally on this.
I need to
Starts,
encourage that.
Telling her more stories of his latest adventures.
Okay.
Bass isn't stupid. So I
He
just
was
want to throw
defending
that
Vass
out
from
there.
himself.
Also, she's like way too young, I think.
She's
Yeah.
about 19.
I guess 10 years. I pictured that in the late 20s.
2 years
Oh.
too old for your song, huh?
Eh. Either way, not stupid. He knows where he is. He knows who she is. He knows who her parents are. He's gonna keep things in check.
All right.
Yeah, if Victoria can get a spot that is flanked on at least one side by someone not in the immediate party, then she'll do that.
Yeah, totally. So we'll do Victoria on the other side of Melisande. Cue Lucilius over there. So that'll be Gaultier, Vass, Rue, and then Andriette. So. As you all sit around, I do have a seating chart, which I will pass here. As you all sit where you are, the chef and comes out and begins to place down your first course, which is a thick and hearty soup. And as it is placed down in front of you, we are going to cut to our first ad break. So stick around with us. We will be right back to pick up with our story. We will see you all soon. We will, just a minute. Or 3. All right, we are back at it. You are in Chateau d'Hiver, having been invited inside after a battle at the gates for a reunion, and as well as perhaps asking for a bit of aid from your cousin. But dinner has come, and the first serving of the courses has been delivered. And, well, do you have any conversations over the soup course?
So I'm sitting beside Nicholas's wife,
Yes.
and who's L?
Lucilius, the
Oh, yeah, the scout. Yeah.
the scout.
Okay. I mean, I'll see what the two of them, either of them, are conversing with other people.
Lucilius kind of keeps to himself. He will talk if asked or spoken to, but he seems perhaps maybe a fish out of water. But Melisande turns to you, Victoria. So, I have heard a bit from my husband that you are a knight of Slavnia.
I am a Knight of the Rose.
Yes. That is a great honor, I've been told, amongst those who are interested in such endeavors.
It's my honor to serve, and not so much to be honored.
A bit of a contradiction, no?
Well, if you think that's a contradiction, I'm also a paladin of Paladine.
Ah, you are then aware that the gods are making their return as well?
As well.
I have heard a few calls in the evening. Dreams that have sendings from those unseen on Kryn.
I think we're in times of upheaval.
So if you allow me this question, you perform these acts because it is your honor to do so. But yet, when others see it and wish to praise such honor, you turn it away. This is strange. Are you uncomfortable with the idea of people seeing you in a better light than what you see yourself in?
No, as long as it's hard to know if people realize that any gifts I am given are not my doing, but are a reflection of Paladine's help.
Most people have not heard the names of gods or seen their actions in all of their life. Would it not be best to, instead of hope for their understanding, show his miracles and ask for them to emulate his beliefs?
I'm hoping that, well, I'm always open to speak about it, but I'm hoping that my deeds inspire people to do that.
Then you should begin to get comfortable with being honored.
Well, maybe that's something I'll have to work on.
It is just a suggestion.
They're always welcome.
Any other conversations that happen at the table?
Oh, Hugh and Isabel are just all talking all the way through Lizard Anatomy.
She is very much eager participant of the discussion.
Rue leans over to Vass and kind of under his breath, but just quietly says, I went back outside the city before dinner, and I was out looking for some things. And I found something that I thought might interest you. And he reaches into his pouch and he pulls out some like herbs, maybe like some
Mushrooms.
yeah. Pulls out like some leaves and he hands them to Vass and he says, some people in my tribe think that these can keep spiders at bay if you kind of crumple them up and rub them on your skin a little bit. Doesn't always seem to work for me, but might help you out a little bit.
Vass is confused,
Just trying to give you spider repellent.
grateful, but also wondering if Rue is messing with him.
One way to find out.
I will say that if you want to see if Rue is trying to pull one on you, you can roll either an insight check to vibe check Rue or a nature check on the herbs.
That's gonna be a vibe insight check.
Yeah, go for it.
22.
Go ahead, Rue, explain what a 22 gets.
Oh, he's being genuine. He was out looking for food and other stuff and just communing with nature. And he saw those and thought of Vass.
Thanks, man. And Vass will pocket them. And Vass will try and subtly hand Rue the papers that he pulled off of the leader guy. And he's like, I found these, but there hasn't been a good time to chat, so you might find these interesting. Maybe take a look at them later.
Yeah, Rue will pocket them then. It's like
That
kids passing note in school.
I literally just hit send.
So, speaking of kids passing notes, Vass was going to have a conversation with Gaultier.
Okay.
To try and, because what is Gaultier's personality like? Is he more quiet or is he more mischievous?
He seems fairly quiet from what you've seen of him. It's not been too much. Perhaps a little bit trying to strive as the youngest to like reach the tiers because he's not the firstborn and then he's also not the first son. So he's like trying very hard to be like, I'm someone.
Mm-hmm. So Vass, I think, would feel a little bit of a kinship there because Vass is the youngest as well. And I think probably because of the memory that happened in the library, I think some of those old memories would be kind of at the forefront, and he would be telling Gaultier about all the various different pranks that he and his best friend Val used to pull on his older brother Kieran, to try and make sure he's part of the conversation and maybe to give him some ideas. Um, so, and then about partway through all the stories, or once the stories are over and he's not in the middle of a conversation, he'd probably start to get melancholy again. Because then the bitter part of the bittersweet would come.
Understand. Rue, are you even trying the soup course, or are you just letting that go by?
Is it like a meaty soup or a vegetable
Uh,
soup?
Bit of both. It seems to have a bit of cream, and what looks to be, perhaps, rice or some other wheat, grain in there, as well as a bit of, it looks to be a lighter, serving of meat, so it's not like the main course, so it's not terribly heavy. Um,
Yeah, he would give it a try. Let's see. 15
what is a
only.
15? I'll never live that down, won't I? Um, so, uh, yeah, so, 15, describe to
It's
me
fine.
what a 15, so it's fine? Okay, cool. So it's
Oh
not the
yeah, yeah.
best, but
I mean, it's good. Yeah, it reminds me of what people would make back at home with just, grains and herbs and maybe some caught game from the forest. This game, the meat tastes a little less gamey than maybe
mm,
what we're used to. Um, so it's odd to Rue, but not gonna turn his stomach. It's just different.
yeah. So, first course and conversations pass by almost with ease, and the second course, the main entree, comes out, and uh, it is duck. You see that there is enough for everyone. They've uh, had to put aside more sides, as they only had the one bird prepared for the evening. So you get a side salad as well as roast vegetables. And the roasted duck has this lovely smell of oranges as part of the glaze that it is served upon, the drippings into the roasted vegetables, and then of course the salad on the side as you are each presented. Um, does Rue give it a shot?
I mean, why not? Yes. Oh, I'm psyching him up for this. Uh-oh.
Oh no!
The salad and the vegetables are fine, but that glazing on the duck's a little much. He's not used to like his meat being that altered. I don't know, garnished, and
Yeah,
that maybe the thickness or whatever, the sweetness of the orange sauce is just
each of you
it's
would be able to see where Rue's food aversion is starting to set in. Um,
and all that it's like
Oh,
sauce
Rue.
juice is like getting like in his beard, and it's just kind of turning into a little bit of a mess.
So he's got orange streaks now with the red streaks.
it's only red in the hair, and now the beard is like getting that orange streak.
Are we shooting for the rainbow, or what's going on?
I can't help it. It just happens. It's all got a mind of its own.
You hear like It's trying to be inconspicuous, but it is very much a pointed cough from your right, Rue, from Andriette, as he picks up his napkin to pat at his mouth.
All right, hold on. Yeah, it's a 7 performance check that I'm gonna do for myself. I'm trying my best.
Explain to me what a 7 performance looks like,
I kinda
besides your
just
best.
clump it and like start just mopping. There's no corner here. It's just like half the dang thing.
So, Rue, I believe, you introduced you as. Where do you hail from?
Rhubarb Bafflewander, 2S, from Sandcrest, from the forests.
You have traveled quite a bit.
There was important things to search out here. We had to visit or go to the funeral, death of a friend from a long time ago. And we
Ah.
heard all the way there of rumors of these cloaked raiders, which we found, including on your doorstep.
Yes, it's been Green Shield. Hugh had made me aware he was traveling before everything. Well, flames began to rise higher.
Did he say flames began to rise higher?
Mm-hmm. Red Dragon Army. Fire.
Yeah. The flames worry me as well. My people live in forests not unlike yourselves. And I'm worried that if my people are like your people and we try and hole up in the forests, we'll be surrounded by this army. And then the forest will be burnt around us until we have no homeland left.
Excuse me while I just make a note here real quick. Fear can be a great motivator, but it can also blind us in the moment. It is good to strike a balance of what fear can do for you and what fear does to you.
I appreciate that. Rue's like lingering on him saying balance, and his mind kind of wanders a little bit off of that. Did we overhear Victoria talking about Paladine?
I would say that it is not so large a table that conversations aren't like you wouldn't be able to hear the conversations unless like you're whispering to make sure that conversations stay private. So it would have been likely that you would have heard the exchange.
So he would say, so I do wonder if the gods are coming back, and Paladine is a sign of good, and we know that Takesis is evil. If it's just the two trying to find their natural balance again, and where that might lead us.
I do not think it is just two that are returning. I am not a cleric of any sorts, but I am perhaps a bit aware of things unseen to most eyes. Things that haunt the forests. Anyone who wants to roll for me a insight or perception check here? Hugh notices this, and Rue notices this. As she says those words, Melisande, does look over to where Hugh is seated. But I think the gods returning is, while some people may fear it, inherently a sign of Kryn healing from the wounds dealt to it so long ago.
Rue's just thinking like nature finds a way, but just kind of nods instead.
Where's Jeff Goldblum at when you need him?
Clever girl.
If no further questions of any direct nature, just passing conversations that happen over dinner, interests and acquainted topics, then it goes by pleasantly. The next course leads into a dessert, which is a custard that has been braised over top, a little creme brulee. But it's very sweet, Rue. More so than any of the fruits.
I made that with disadvantage too, but it still did well. So they compliments to the chef.
So, strange, but good. Slimy, yet satisfying. Dinner is finished, concluded. And you are able to seek out any sort of interactions before your next engagement, which would be with Nicholas returning to a family treasury.
No, I'm willing to let dinner pass by pleasantly.
Rue wants to read the note, but not until we're not at the table anymore.
Yeah, easily done. So, as you finish dinner and you are excused from the table, you read the note. It is a conscription note handed down the ranks orders of Consulti Fire Eyes, High Master of the Red Dragon Army. And that it's basically what you had seen from the hobgoblins earlier, but well, before, not quite earlier. But it's just needing soldiers at any means necessary. So, and that can be shared amongst all of
Yes,
you
yeah.
guys.
If I see Bass or one of the others, I pass it along I want to tell them about the scouts, but not necessarily individually, because I don't want to tell my story like 6 times.
Yeah, no, you can definitely find the people to do that. So. You meet with Nicholas. Well, let us then, as Melisande puts the children to rest, and Isabel finds her own evenings pastime, make our way to the treasury.
Right on.
As you are led into a portion of the house, one that probably does not see very many guests, whether they are of the Diver line or outside of it. It is opened by a key that Nicholas carries. And as the great door is pushed open and a light brought in from some of the lanterns outside of this room, you see that there are some chests that are likely filled with some coin or precious materials, but there are other things here of value. Paintings, objects. And it is one of these objects that Nicholas goes for almost immediately. It is small, a statuette made of silver that you can see is in the shape of a raven. And as he picks this statuette up off of the pedestal, turns to your group and offers it out.
Takes it reverently and then shows it immediately to Victoria with like a showing around kind of gesture.
Sure. Okay. What is it that I'm passing on? Like if I take a closer look at it, anything special, or is it just a thing?
As you look closer at it, roll for me a Arcana check, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
It seems a finely crafted silver raven.
Okay. I mean, she'll look at it and I guess handle it with the proper reverence that they seem to be showing and just pass it on.
If anyone else wants to roll an Arcana check as they get it in their hands.
Oh, I totally want to check it out because it looks like a bird. Right there with you.
It is a finely crafted silver raven. Hugh and Vash can pick up that there is some strange sort of more about the statuette, that there is, that most definitely can tell that there's something arcane in nature of that. Since you will be in the war effort, that will be perhaps of great use. It is able to spread its wings for half a day, but only in the most dire of situations. But it can travel great distances to deliver messages.
Oh, it's some sort of magic talisman or something, is it?
Of a sort, yes. It spreads its wings and can carry words to important figures, if it must.
Like, does the person that have it designate who it's going to?
You can tell the raven the message and who is the intended target is, and it will do its best to make the way, but it is only able to travel so far before it is no longer able to hold a living form and reverts back to the statue.
Oh, very nice.
So I imagine it won't be able to make it all the way to Sangrist and back.
Can cover much distance, but it only has 12 hours before
I think Sangrist is a few more hours beyond it. Took me quite a long time to get here.
as this is handed over to the group. You see where Nicholas looks about further, seeing if there is anything else that he can offer that would be of assistance. And he seems to find something. And as he goes over, he picks up a gem from where it sits in a cushion. It is rough. It is not hewn or cleaned, but the gem seems to sparkle with its own luminance. This has not been of use since perhaps the first of our family line, if the stories are to be believed. He looks over to Hugh as he brings this gem over.
Ooh. I'm going to presume Hugh actually knows what this is and what it does, but he obviously doesn't know right now, so...
Okay. Go ahead, actually give me a history check.
13.
13. You've heard of this. You don't know the name of it, but you know that this gem that Nicholas brings over has been called a beacon in some stories and a defending light in another. And you've heard of it glowing so bright that it has blinded an entire battlefield before. Whether that is true or, a bit of a exaggeration for the telling of tales, but it is presented to your group.
Shall be light for us in dark places. If only metaphorically dark.
Hopefully it will bring you a bit of light, should you need it. If not, it should get you out of any financial pinches.
Oh. Can't pawn the defending light.
If the Red Jargon army has their way, money won't matter in society anyway.
And it is even better to send with you. Make sure that they do not get their way. So, Nicholas gives a nod. I believe that is what I can offer you.
Cousin,
Yes.
only have my travel armor with me. Could you do? Are we equipped to get me something more suited for straight up field of battle?
I believe that that can be easily enough acquired. So,
Oh, my companions, of course, they're looking for if anything that they can need used for better armaments or armor.
Nicholas looks to the rest of you, if you would need better armorings.
Oh, no, I've been prepared.
I mean, all my stuff's back in my room, but I think I have everything I need.
Unless there's some half plate laying around unused, collecting dust. Maybe.
I want Vash to make me a persuasion check, as half plate is a bit expensive.
Oh, yeah, I was saying it half and just. Persuasion. 21.
Yes, yes. Take them for everything they have.
They have plenty.
Times of war are harsh indeed. But you are traveling with my cousin, which makes me think that perhaps you are just as foolhardy as he.
Can confirm.
Ask him to take you to the armory when he goes to pick up his own armaments, and you may take a set as needed.
Many thanks.
With that, Nicholas is going to close the doors of the treasury, escorting you all out. Lock the doors tight once more, as you are gifted these 2 items. And are able to then return to your guest rooms or some other area to discuss before breaking off for the evening.
Faye, before we leave him, like maybe when he's walking us out, Drew would like to mention the guards that he encountered in the forest, because I think that Nicholas should know about that as well, that there's still more wandering around. And the direction that they headed back off to.
Thank you, Rhubarb. It is unfortunate that our woods are infested so, but appreciate such keen eyes and reporting.
I can see why you keep the gates closed and don't want the younger ones to stray too far outside the walls.
It is
Used
my
to thinking that-
eldest that I am most concerned of. Perhaps she is the one that is most eager to prove the edge of her blade. And he gives a look over to Hugh as he says this.
We're just
and
looking at you too.
as all of you would have been able to see, where Isabel very much looks up to her cousin, and
We're all
tries to
looking at
emulate.
you.
Our farm is getting much better.
Yes, and she is still my only daughter.
Good that she's learning to defend herself then. Don't have a spare.
He shakes his head, but there is, of course, a fondness there. But if there is nothing else, we of course can regroup, as you have maybe just touch on the information that you will have, the conscription notice.
Was Lucilius
Nothing
with us
urgent.
as well?
Lucilius did not come to the treasury, no. He retired to his rooms.
There's nothing urgent. Friend Vass, let's get you equipped with proper Devarian armaments.
I'll lead the way.
Hugh, you know your way to the armory. You've been here many times in your youth, and then in adulthood. You find your way there with ease and can pick up the armor, and perhaps, if you are looking for a better weapon, but none quite have any sort of high masterwork quality. Everything is basically what I'm saying mechanically. There's no like any +1s or anything like that. It's all just normal stuff.
Q puts Vass in conspicuously decorated with Devarian insignia armor.
Like a walking billboard.
Yeah,
There, you look like a proper retainer now.
that looks down a teensy bit skeptically. But you know what? He's not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. So
All I'm imagining is that going on in Vass's mind, just in the background, is Paint It Black.
absolutely is. But he also, I guess, doesn't want to get confused with a Red Dragon Army soldier, because their stuff is black, right? With red detailing.
Black with red flourishes and the symbol of Takisis.
Yeah. So
Hugh's armor comes with just a magnificent cape.
Of course it does. It's you we're talking about. Anything less, we'd have to worry about imposters.
No, no.
Yeah, like midnight blue with white trim, little snowflake decoration.
That sounds awesome.
I have some news about my AC, guys.
Uh-oh. Did it go down?
It went up.
It's only 17.
You've been waiting for that.
Heck yeah.
We've been waiting for this moment.
And look, you got a 21 on your persuasion check, and just for it, story
I
dice.
I was considering burning my inspiration if I didn't roll well.
Amazing. So, as the new armor is picked up, and you are able to make your way, if you do make your way back towards everyone, to share in any sort of findings, planning for the day ahead, on your return to Calamon, when that would be.
Well, Hugh, now that you've seen your people, are you free to leave? Are you planning on going back to Calman?
I made a commitment to the city, and one of the variants must take the field. Honor demands this.
All right. So, are we leaving tomorrow then?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I mean, I saw those scouts go off toward Vogler, but it sounds like there's a whole army in Vogler, and there's, what, 5 of us?
I mean, if you want to do some dragon armory hunting, it would not be amiss. Not the usual quarry in these lands, but I don't have time to take you on a proper hunt.
I kind of think Rue meant the opposite of that.
I'm not sure we have the skill necessary. I mean, last we heard they were camping their army there, right?
This was correct. That
Yeah.
the army took standing in the town.
So I don't think going anywhere near it would be good for us.
Must wait for their strike.
Sounds.
Perhaps we'll be able to take it on the counter attack.
Yeah, going closer sounds dangerous to me. If there's scouts here, they're just going to be thicker the closer you get to Vogler. Going to the den of the bears. Never a good idea. So we have more information now. We have the consecrate note. We have these new creatures we've encountered. We have Lucilius. That's probably just as
And we
important.
know Iverhold has not fallen. That's important information too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that settlements are still standing.
Hmm.
And
Calamon falls, we can regroup here.
Iverhold also possibly being able to send over some financial assistance should it be necessary. But any other conversations that happen before retiring for the night?
Oh, I think that's it.
Sorry.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
I think because we started to talk at the same time. So was there something you were going to say?
No, just Victoria doesn't have anything else to speak
Okay. Vass would ask you if there's any maybe only known to the locals back roads that aren't very traveled that we might be able to take to get back on track to Calamon, that since the forest here is kind of crawling with Dragon Army scouts and patrols and
I mean, Hugh kind of guided you on the direct path already, but he could, if he thinks it's better to take a less conspicuous road, it'd be a detour.
It would also be a bit harder on the horses to go too far off the beaten path, so to say.
We do need to bring the horses back. Not leaving Killian here. The stable master seemed pretty fond of these three.
Yes, we can't do the more efficient thing is to exchange horses and take fresh ones. He wanted these ones back.
Well, they are city property, so
Mm-hmm.
Are they branded?
I guess I could see if I could take a family steed so we can are all riding on one.
I would say that you'd be able to do so.
what about Lucilius?
Could double up with Lucilius could double up. He'd be fine.
Rue and Vass had to ride together. Killian, it's our horse.
Then you have an extra horse that can just be a spare, and carry your baggage.
Amazing. So, as you each plan, as you each find your way to your rooms to bed down, night begins to fall. With it, the moons rise. Shadows grow deep and heavy. Dreams become the landscapes of restless thoughts and revived memories. And as you each begin to drift off into rest, I'm going to ask, what is one thought that comes to each of you before you become fully unconscious, fully asleep? We'll start with Victoria.
I think since they had brought up Fogler, kind of that was kind of the last thing they were talking about before bed. She's probably wondering about what's her name that she had heard was taken captive. Wow, where the heck in my notes? Her name is
Becklin?
somewhere.
Cudgel?
Yeah, Becklin. I was like, it starts with a B. Yeah, so that's probably her last focus.
Okay. Rue, what are your thoughts?
They're probably going back to Sandcrest and maybe the thought of like new Atari rising over Sandcrest, and he's nervous.
Okay. Hugh, your last
Hugh
thought?
is thinking about Isabel and whether she's ready to be a full adult noble with responsibilities right now.
Okay. And Vass.
Well, as Vass's mind kind of quiets down, I think some of the things that were looping around in the back of his mind that maybe he wasn't super aware of for a while is going to be those memories. And I think he's going to think of Val and Keith I wonder, you know, where they're at, what they're doing.
All right. And with those wonderings, we're going to have our next ad break. So stick around with us, and we'll be right back. We are back. And as we settle into the evening here, as our adventurers bed down in Chateau d'Hiver, dreams befall each of your rests. Some more pleasant than others. Some reopening wounds and pressing against bruises. Others burning bright with fear or possibility. We will begin with Vas. As Vas is carried off to sleep, memories beginning to rise around your head, brought back by a surge of melancholy in the library earlier this evening. You find yourself, as we enter into your dream, running through the familiar hallways of your home, though they are longer, perhaps the dreamlike nature extending them. You're chasing after the laughter of Val. She's just ahead of you. You know it. You can hear her. And she calls out to you, Vas. Vas! Come on, you're being slow. Hurry up!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
As you push yourself further, you turn and you see her. She's standing precariously on a chair dragged over to a door. She's setting up a prank for your brother. One to drop a bucket full of some strange colored water. I got a handful of some ink, and when Kier comes in, it's gonna lose it.
He is going to lose it. Yes. It's going to be amazing.
As the dream morphs from memory to something else, you watch yourself as, through a mirror, through a reflection, both you and Val grow older, no longer kids, young adults. There is a somberness. And as the way dreams do, you know things just as they be, even without logic, without experience. Your brother has been missing. You don't know how he disappeared. Just that one day he left, never to return. It has been years. No word.
Like what happened to them.
Like what happened to Vas. There is worry that lingers in the room. Val seems quiet. You are still her closest confidant, her best friend. She is like family. She feels this missing of your brother just as much as you do.
Vas would pull her into like a sideways half hug.
As you pull Val closer and as she places her head on your shoulder, once more there's a shift of the dream. And you find yourself in someplace familiar once more. A camp that you had long abandoned, though it is no longer solitary. You still feel the presence of Val at your side, as if she was brought with you to this long-forgotten place. The atmosphere around the two of you has changed from a sickening worry to a bit of fear. A struggle to cling to hope in such a dark place where the fog is never-ending. Until they part for the first time since your arrival. And she looks to you, Vas. We can get out of here. We have to run.
Vas nods and just grabs his stuff and breaks into a run after her.
And as the two of you run towards some light at the end of this fog, Vas, you bolt up in your bed as your dream ends. You can look outside and see that it is still heavy night, but you feel the sweat upon your brow and the racing of your pulse.
Vas is a little shook.
It is understandable after what you have experienced. You may find rest afterwards, though perhaps it comes after a bit of time calming yourself, calming your mind. But the rest of the night goes by without issue, Vas. Hugh, as we come to your dream, it is a lavish ballroom filled with hundreds of people, faceless for the most part. But amongst the crowd, you do see familiar faces of your family. Those that are present, those that have long since moved beyond this world. All seeming to watch the debutante of this ball, Isabel. She's a bit younger in this dream than she is now, but she carries herself with poise and confidence that you know she has. That has been cultivated by your own hands to help shape her into a proper diver. And as you are looking about, you hear where she calls, "Cousin! Join me for this dance. No one's on my card." She pulls you
Course.
out onto the floor. As you dance, it is very proper form. As a young noble, you were taught the same steps that she has now perfected. And while she very eagerly tells you of her highest marks, the knowledge that she has learned from the extracurricular activities as well as her tutorings, your eyes cannot help but wander. The crowd now seems a sea of faceless figures that all stare and watch, as if they are waiting for a misstep to tear into the youngest noble to enter into a proper court life, to find whatever mistake young Isabel might make, and to put it on the highest display. Perhaps it is a bit of protectiveness as one of her tutors. Perhaps it is because of the kinship. But you are more than aware of what the world of court and politics can do. And that's just a noble with normal responsibilities. Your waking mind would remind you that this is wartime, and that things are much more intense, but in your subconscious, it is just the faceless politicians, potential suitors, and restless civilians that wait like hungering wolves for any misstep. Hugh, can you roll for me a performance check?
5.
In this wandering of your mind, the dance is forgotten, causing your dear cousin, Isabel, to stumble. And you watch as those faceless figures begin to sprout fur and teeth, becoming those wolves. And they rush in around you. There is no cry, but you are startled awake. It is still dark outside, but there is the faintest scent of cinnamon that clings to the air. Perhaps an old friend is nearby, or perhaps you are picking up trace scents in your heightened state. But rest after this dream is possible. And while it may not come the most easiest, it does come. Rue, You are not in a dream. You are in a nightmare. All around you are heavy flames eating the familiar trees of the Sandcrest Forest. The abodes of your community are long turned to ash, and you see shadows of wings upon the ground that is not feasted on by fire. As you stand paralyzed in this dream state, only able to watch as the home you've only ever known burns around you, those shadows grow heavier, thicker, begin to wrap around you. There is no overwhelming heat, but a chill, deathly. I have given you a touch of my power. You can avoid such a fate. It is what you most fear, is it not?
I need to help them.
This is not a premonition, nor is it a sign of what is, but it is a manifestation of your fear.
It could still happen.
Anything can happen.
Then I must work to make it not happen.
If that is the route. It is not one I think is wrong. Especially if you use the gifts I have imbued. You intrigue me, far traveler.
Who are you?
A ghost to some. A guide to others. Protector. Destroyer. Balance. Chaos. I am all that I am. But if you must call me something, I have taken a liking to the name Arenberg.
Is that one M or two?
Spell it as you will. A name is only as powerful as you give it hold over you.
Bruce's mind wanders a little bit to the other names and nicknames that he has for himself and his friends and family and tribe members. His names.
Use my gifts. Ask for aid. Either can help prevent this, But know that I watch you as much as I watch the other.
Who's the other?
He travels amongst you. He was the first to pique my curiosity of your group. Though you all seem to have merit.
Bass?
As I said, a name is just a stringing together identifier, but not so important. As this is said, you feel the chill around you get more intense. The shadow soon overwhelms the flames, not in a way that douses them, but makes you blind to anything but the shadow. You do not wake until it is dawn. But after this nightmare, your dreams are just deep, empty, and cold. Victoria, you also do not find yourself in a dream, but in a nightmare.
What the crap?
You too are surrounded by fire, but it is a fire you have experienced. It is Vogler. It burns, and as it does so, you are moving through it. Battles happen around you. Monsters, Draconians. They claw their way towards you, but you are able to outrun them. You are on the ship, departing outwards. The last figures coming in. And you are setting off when you hear a familiar voice call out for you. A voice you have not heard in years.
Years.
Casimir calls for you. And as you look, you see at the edge, far across any distance that you'd normally be able to see if this was the waking world, Casimir is there beyond the flames, beyond the Draconians. And at his side, covered in blood, you see Becklin. And she also
What?
calls, damning you for leaving, for not rescuing either of them. Both of them begin to turn this damnation as you live this nightmare that can only exist in your mind. A manifestation of fears, of guilt, of doubts. But at your side, on the boat, you hear another voice, one calling you away from the flames and the reprimands. Darrett.
Woof.
The people need you, Victoria. They need good-hearted people. Don't look to the past, but to the future. And you see, beyond the shadows of Vogler, and the flames that rise ever higher in the war, down the river, towards Kalaman, a bright light of dawn, and Your boat, even amongst the Vanguard's restless waters, stays put.
You don't, you don't, you don't get it. That is the future. It's always right around the corner.
And Victoria, in this nightmare, do you look back to the flames, or do you ride towards the light of Calamon?
Well, man, I mean, she can't. No, I don't think she can. She can turn her back again on the people behind her.
So what do you do, Victoria?
What? The boat's not moving?
The boat does not seem to move at this moment.
Okay. Can she still see Casimir and Becklin?
You can.
Okay. So as she starts like crying, reddish tears, she's gonna like yell or scream at them like, "You wait, you will come. I'll find you."
As you call these words, these promises, the waters begin to take you. The boat moves and rushes, and you're calling out until the flames are gone, and you awake to the dawn light as your dream ends. And you all will gain a long rest.
It's not restful. This is a house of horrors.
It is easy enough to grab breakfast before you head out, to take with you a family steed. That way you do not have to double up more than is necessary. And it is not a terribly long journey back to Calamon. But as you are getting closer, you see a few miles ahead of you, also heading towards the same gates of the city, a group. They are armed soldiers, and they are marching towards the city. And that is where we are going to end our session this evening. So we will pick up next week with the armed soldiers heading to Calamon, and we will see what is going on there. So thank you to our players for playing. I hope you all enjoyed this story. Thank you to our viewers for viewing. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. To find out more about us and what we've got going on at WRP, you can head over to our website, wildewitch.com. That's WILDEWITCH.com. Check out all the fun stuff we've got over there, as well as the invite link to our Discord and all the other places you can find us on the internet. While you're also on the internet, head over to Sirenscape.com. Sirenscape provides all of our background music, our ambiance, our sad trombone played during dramatically appropriate times. You can catch all that they can do for you and your table at their website, Sirenscape.com. And with that, as always, may the ever-burning light forever guide your steps. Laters.